I now welcome Don Kotz, MHA, CO, Fellow, Chairman of the Orthotic and Prosthetic Education and Research Foundation's Board of Directors, to present the Tamarack Award.
Thank you, Rick. Well, that's a tough act to follow. My goodness, that was fantastic. So the OPERF Tamarack Prize is awarded to an individual who has made significant contributions to the practice and understanding of orthotic science. Ideal candidates are those who have a history of clinical care, scientific research, and peer-reviewed publications from within the orthotic profession. This year's Tamarack Prize for outstanding contributions to orthotic science and practice is awarded to Jonathan Naft, CPO. Jonathan's career as an orthotist began more than 25 years ago after completing the orthotic certificate program at Northwestern University following his graduation from the Ohio State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. Within 5 short years, Jonathan founded Giaga Rehabilitation Engineering in Cleveland, Ohio. It was his passion for working closely with patients, fellow clinicians, and technical staff that he became increasingly motivated to develop new, innovative ways to improving the lives of those requiring his services. He developed the hip flexion assist orthosis to aid patients with multiple sclerosis, which led to a publication on the efficacy and safety of this orthosis in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation. The e-knee, which was the first commercially available electronic stance control KAFO, and the MyoPro, the first custom myoelectric upper extremity orthosis designed to restore function to those who otherwise had essentially no functional use for activities of daily living. A recipient of the Academy's prestigious Clinical Creativity Award in 2014, and known for being one of the nicest individuals with an incredibly gifted and generous spirit for his work, Jonathan epitomizes the traits worthy of recognition with this year's Tamarack Prize from OPERF. Jonathan, would you please join me on stage?
Okay. Thank you, Don. Thank you to the OPERF visionaries. Thank you to the Academy leaders. And also individually to Marty Carlson for having the vision to create this award to recognize the contributions in orthotic science. While I have just a few minutes at the podium, I'd like to capture the attention of the students in the room. Give me a clap if you're a student in the room. I think there's a lot here. Excellent. I'd like to take this opportunity to inspire you. I'd also like to inspire everyone else in the room to all do our part to contribute to the growth of the science of this profession. You don't have to raise your hands, but I'm thinking everyone in this room has an idea, something that we can do to make this profession better, to improve the science of what we do. Are you with me? You have ideas. They might be in business, they might be in marketing, they might be in sales. You know, we're all together in this. You could be a technician, you could be a clinician. I'm here to tell you that your ideas are doable. I'm reminded every day of how far we've come in this profession. I have been lucky in 27 years to work on projects on both the prosthetic side, but also on the orthotic side. But nothing like I've seen in the past 4 years on the orthotic side. Think about the last 4 years. We're seeing powered exoskeletons for the lower extremities. We have a host of new materials, composites, smart materials. We have new fabrication process in the last couple of years. And now what I'm excited about is this new space of myoelectric orthotics. What I've really learned is it takes a team. It takes a team to make a difference. When I worked on stance control to grow this space, I surrounded myself with people who were experts at education, experts at brace design, experts on publishing research, because that's what it takes. It takes a whole team. When I worked on hip flexion, it was the same thing. I was doing work, seeing patients at the Cleveland Clinic, and we were fitting a lot of MS patients with AFO. And as a team, we noticed that, heck, we can dorsiflex their foot all we want, but if they can't advance their leg, they don't ambulate as well as we can get them to. So as a team, we created something called the hip flexion orthosis. And as a team, we brought in statisticians, researchers, physicians, therapists, brace designers. And the end result was a published paper in the Archives of Physical Medicine. But even better yet, tour the exhibit hall today. You're going to see lots of other hip flexion orthoses. The work that we all do, if we're willing to share, we're willing to document, it will inspire growth in the industry, and it will foster research. Now I'm focused on something new, myoelectric orthotics. Let me bring you back to what I just said a minute ago about we all have an idea. A student several years ago had an idea that said, if someone is an upper extremity amputee, they get a prosthesis, which is myoelectrically controlled, and then they can regain function. Why can't we do that with someone who has an arm, but otherwise can't use it? Sounds like a heck of an idea. So what's next? Give you a guess, a team. So we have researchers, we have product designers, we have educators, we have physicians, we have therapists. Now I'm very proud to say in the short amount of time, and in fact less than 4 years with me, we have research going on at the Rehab Institute of Chicago, Northwestern University, New York University, the Cleveland VA, Cleveland Clinic, the Medical College of South Carolina, the Mayo Clinic, and the Ohio State University. OH! Yes. As one of my new roles, I'm a researcher at the Cleveland VA. I'm studying how patients with brain injury who have lost the function of their arm can also wear a myoelectric brace. Stay tuned. This is going to be good work, and it's going to help all of us and our patients that we work with. Next, I'd like to recognize a person named Chris Long. Chris has worked behind the scenes on every project I just mentioned. He's a technician. His hands have literally been on every project that I just mentioned. What's special about this story is this is how you foster and grow research. If we don't support our products with data, with evidence, we won't push the profession as far as we need to. So when I think back in my career early on, I literally wrote things down on napkins. If I showed a physician, hey, your patient's doing really well, I showed him a video, which is good. But it's not as good as showing the physician my last 18 patients and their difference in their box and block score, their difference in their Ashworth score, their difference in their strength and range of motion. Tabulate those. So what I guess I'm trying to say is you don't have to be a PhD member of the OPERTH board to foster and grow research in this profession. So Chris, would you please stand and be recognized wherever you are? Thank you. So, Chris is exactly that. And he's been a big part of the growth of this profession. So I'd also like to thank my wife and family who put up with my ridiculous hours and frustrations when things don't work. A lot of stories behind that. Last, let me conclude by saying I'm going to honor this award by regarding the patients that trust me and all of us to keep advancing the science of what we do. I'm going to do my part to grow scientific research and be a contributing team member. A shout out to all my Myomo coworkers in the room. We're getting people to look up. This is making a difference. When someone comes in for an AFO and they have hemiparesis and they can't move their arm, people are starting to look up. We have wonderful options in the exhibit hall here, and it's time for us to grow our space into this new space. I pledge to work to assist and continue with peer-reviewed publications. I will use these funds to contribute to the overall growth of the profession. So I'd like to conclude by saying I'm very humbled by this because the team members I work with are incredibly talented. The people who have won awards tonight are talented. So let me wrap up by saying thank you, and let's all have a good conference. Thank you.